friends of Jane, Anna and Grant.
Nothing useful was found. Nothing useful at all.
Earlier that Australia Day at 9:45am, Nancy Beaumont said goodbye to her children for the last time as they left their Harding Street home in Somerton Park.
They went up and caught a bus on Diagonal Road, and the bus driver remembers the three children getting on the bus. They travelled down to Moseley Street at Glenelg.
Their local postman saw the siblings a short time later.
The middle child, Anna, called out, "There's the postman," indicating that he's their postman. So they seem to be in good spirits that time. The next time the children are seen are on a lawned area on the foreshore at Glenelg, on the northern side of the Holdfast Bay Sailing Club. So one of Jane's school friends from her primary school actually saw her there and pointed out to her mother. Witnesses saw a man lying on a beach towel looking at the children, and then later the children talking to this man and playing with him.
Witnesses say the man approached them not far from where I'm standing on the Glenelg foreshore. He asked them if they'd seen anyone near the children's clothes because money had been stolen. Jane, Anna and Grant were seen leaving with that man soon after. The next sighting is at Wenzel's Bakery in Moseley Street, where police say the children bought more food than they could have eaten themselves.
And they've paid for that with a £1 note. We know that Mrs Beaumont only gave the children 7 shillings and 6pence. So they've received this £1 note from someone who we don't know.
They then left the shop.
That is the last time they are seen.
That was lunchtime. The police log shows the search didn't start until 7 o'clock that evening.
Whoever took the children, had a good start.
As radio broadcasts began to break the disappearance, Jim Beaumont still searched.
That night was out on his own again in his own car, still looking all night, but obviously did not find them.
Saturation media coverage prompted dozens of statements to police.
People came from everywhere.
And some confirmed the sighting of the suspicious man on the foreshore with the children. A sketch was released.
He would be approximately 6 foot, slim build, fair complexion, slightly suntanned.
Detectives were convinced the man, aged in his 30s with an Australian accent, was the key.
Have you any doubt whatsoever now that these were the Beaumont children? None whatever. Does the description that you were given this morning by the elderly couple of the man tally with previous description? Yes, in almost every detail.
Police feared almost immediately that they were hunting a sex offender. Dozens of people were questioned, but no firm suspects emerged.
The death was no proper lead, and we only subsequently realized how easy it is to abduct 3 children.
You're only using 10% of AI's power. Here's how to unlock the rest. Disappear for 1 month to become the most dangerous person in the...
Hundreds joined the search. The nearby Padawalonga was drained in a bid to find the children.
To see if there is any trace, any clue to the missing Beaumont children here in the Padawalonga boat haven. Public interest in this case, rather than lessening as the days have gone by to today, 8th, 9th days since the children disappeared, has increased to the extent where we see an amazing sight, a sight which I'm sure has not been duplicated in South Australia before. Thousands of people and hundreds of cars lining every inch of the surrounds of the Padawalonga boat haven.
But once again, there was nothing to tell Jim and Nancy Beaumont.
And that was the hard part, just breaking the news. There was no further information that could lead to the recovery of the children.
Despite months slipping by, the Beaumonts held out hope.
They left the children's rooms exactly as they were when they left. They didn't touch them, having the expectations that if they did come back, there would be rooms for them as they were.
With each passing day, the case garnered more public interest nationally and internationally. Local businessman Con Polides helped fund a trip to Adelaide by renowned Dutch clairvoyant Gerard Croisset.
Mr. Croisset believes that they played in a hole or in a dig out.
That is the name meaning instant out. The name meaning instant.
Yes, and that particular hole or cave must have collapsed.
His psychic visions led investigators to a building site at Paringa Park near where the children went to school. It was excavated, but nothing was found.
The press followed him around everywhere, but no, we didn't. And he was just a con man. No two ways about that.
30 years later, Mr. Polides funded an excavation at another warehouse Croisset had nominated, but again, nothing. There was also a cruel hoax in the late 60s. A teenager sent a letter to the Beaumonts claiming it was from Jane. The letter said she and her siblings were living with a man in Victoria and to meet them at a location. Detectives took Jim and Nancy there, but no one showed. Police confirming that fraud through forensic testing 25 years later.
A stupid act committed by a young person, which he's got to live with now.
There were sightings, people claiming to be the Beaumont children in Australia and around the world. Police regularly updated Jim and Nancy, but all investigations failed to deliver a firm suspect.
More hope was lost. She deteriorated very badly. So did he, but he was a bit stronger than she was. But still, both suffered terribly.
The couple divorced and moved out of their family home, but both remain in Adelaide, now aged in their 80s. They haven't spoken publicly for decades. The toll of half a century of grief and hundreds of false leads, impossible to fathom.
Policemen see some terrible things. Think about it.
Wild speculation doesn't help anybody, and it just adds to the grief of the family.
In 1960s Australia, the disappearance of the Beaumonts was almost impossible to comprehend. Everyone's thoughts turned to their parents, Jim and Nancy. For months, the couple held out hope their children would be found alive. The parents gave this interview 9 months after the children vanished, the day Dutch clairvoyant Gerard Croyset arrived in Adelaide, and what turned...
Jim, what sort of question does one ask at a time like this?
Well, what can you say, actually? I mean, I know many people all over Australia really feel for us, and well, what can you say at this moment? I mean, we've been hanging on for 9 months and 14 days now, and well, we're just got to wait and hope and pray.
Do you hope that Dr. Croiset succeeds?
Oh well, I mean that's his belief, and I really appreciate him coming over. I mean to find the children, but not the way that he says, because I don't believe that the children are dead, and I'll cling on to the hope until there's any evidence found otherwise.
Yes. Do you expect to meet Dr. Croiset, Nancy?
No, I don't.
Why is that? Because of the published remarks about him more concerned with the children than the parents?
That's right. I don't think that I think it'd be very difficult for him to meet us. I think he's a very feeling man, and I think that his main objective is finding the children more so than talking to us, perhaps.
Did you see him pass this morning?
Oh, I've seen him on the car again.
Yes. I suppose there's been several false alarms over this past harrowing 9 months for you.
Oh yes, raised their hopes. We're let down again, and now with Mr. Croiset's visit and all the press. And by the way, I would like to say at this stage that I will thank all the radio, television stations and the press for what they have been doing. I mean, they are, I mean, I know everybody feels for us, but they're all over Australia.
But I think it's fair to say that everybody in the community could imagine the devastating emotional impact this would have had on them, and the immeasurable pain and grief they would have suffered over the years. So I don't propose to speak for them, but I think if people think about it, they'll be able to imagine what they may have been through.
Do you think there are people out there that will be watching these reports and that they know exactly what has happened in this case?
It's hard to know. It's most likely a lone offender, and it's not the sort of crime that you would brag about. So unlike some other cases, this could be a case where the person's kept it quiet. But then again, over time we've seen on a lot of occasions that people do tell somebody. So I guess the answer to that is unclear, but we still have the hope that we may one day find out what happened.
And we'll hear more about the investigation with police reporter Ben Avery in just a moment. The disappearance of Jane, Anna and Grant Beaumont shook Australia to the core and changed the way we live. Commentators and psychologists have described Australia Day 1966 as the day our country lost its innocence.
1960s Adelaide was a very different time. The time of blissful naivety shaped by a country town mentality. a time when no one thought twice about a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old taking a bus to the beach on their own.
It was really a sign of the times. I mean, you ask people back then, they'll tell you they went to sleep with their back door open, their front door open, people didn't lock their cars, we didn't have burglar alarms.
But on Australia Day 1966, that trust vanished, along with 3 innocent children.
We thought of ourselves as a sort of a dignified city, but with all the happiness of a country town, all the relaxation of a country town, and that was gone. Suddenly, you couldn't expect 3 young kids to be put on a bus just for a few minutes.
It was a massive wake-up call. It was almost like Adelaide lost its innocence. And so did Australia in a way, because this was a national story.
Every parent felt it could so easily have been their children.
What if that had been my children? What if we'd lost our 3?
And schoolmates, like musician Mark Holden, felt it could so easily have been them.
The Beaumonts literally lived around the corner from me, and I just feel like it could have been me. You know, it could have been me. I could have been that kid that was gone missing. And it wasn't unusual in those days for kids to go down the beach on their own, even that young. We all felt safe. Obviously we were wrong.
My whole career I was pretty much bald, so people just got to know me as being a bald guy. I did wonder what it would be like if I could have hair.
When you have different camp.
As the days, weeks and then months dragged on, one of the largest police investigations in Australian history significantly changed the way we viewed the world and watched over our children.
The penny dropped that maybe this was the end of the age of innocence for Adelaide. It really was the beginning of a new way of thinking for us all.
What it did, it made all parents sit up and take notice of the lack of security that might have been around their children and allowing them to do things that, on reflection, they shouldn't allow their children to do.
For years afterwards, I don't think people could actually believe this had happened, and especially not in Adelaide, which is back then very much considered to be a sleepy hollow.
But those newfound fears were justified just a few years later when 11-year-old Joanne Ratcliffe and 4-year-old Christy Gordon were snatched from Adelaide Oval in 1973.
To have another 2 children go missing 7 years later, it reinforced to people times are changing, unfortunately, and you do have to be careful.
Paranoid parents became increasingly unwilling to let their children out of their sight. There's no doubt the unsolved disappearance has left a long-lasting impact, but detectives point out that had modern technology and policing techniques of today been available back then, it's almost impossible that 3 children could have vanished without a trace.
We've got CCTV, for example, at Glenelg. We have a very effective media where we could communicate with the whole population of Adelaide within a very short time. Social media, automatic number plate recognition. So if this case occurred today, it would be very unlikely that offender would get out of Glenelg with those children.
Regardless, Susie Ratcliffe believes the change in attitude hasn't been a bad thing.
People are becoming a lot more knowledgeable and are implementing ways and means of staying away from those people and reporting it to the police.
And tomorrow she wants all parents to mark the anniversary by speaking to their children about the danger of strangers and lighting a candle to ensure that Jane, Anna and Grant Beaumont are never forgotten.
Just to remember the 3 beautiful lives that were cut short, to remember the family that's been left behind, to realise that they've gone through a lot of pain and anguish over the 50 years, and to remember how lucky we are to be able to hold our own children tight and know that they're safe in our arms.
For detectives, the investigation into the disappearance of Jane, Anna and Grant Beaumont has never been closed. Major crime officers are still taking calls weekly and revealed just days ago that they now have a new lead. We're joined now by police reporter Ben Avery. Ben, how promising is this new information?
Well, Brenton, it's promising enough that it's being investigated as we speak. Police told us today that statements have been taken about a new suspect identified to Crime Stoppers by a credible person in recent weeks. They say that they're yet to determine if the suspect, who is now deceased, could possibly have taken the children or whether it's just another of the many false leads they've been encountering for half a century. It's a case with no crime scene, no forensic evidence and no DNA.
Well, it was probably one of the most unique murder investigations in Australia.
Modern day detectives now rely on the original police file, the black and white photographs, the eyewitness accounts and the South Australian public that remains eager to help.
And even today we're averaging Crime Stoppers call on this case about every 4 to 5 days.
But how do police sort fact from fiction?
At times we've had what I would call time wasters. We've had people with mental health issues.
How is credible information carefully separated from the wild conspiracy theories that have frustrated detectives from day one?
Quite a few people wasted police time with silly things, but we had to investigate each one of them.
Over the years, hundreds of bizarre claims, including one that the children have been abducted by a religious cult, have been looked at and dismissed. But there have been some declared credible enough to investigate further. This book outlined a case against a suspect who has since been identified as deceased businessman Harry Phipps. Labelled the Saturn Man due to his apparent fetish for wearing Saturn clothing, Phipps was accused of killing the Beaumont children by his own son.
The son came forward to us and said that he did see the Beaumont children and they had disappeared. They came into the backyard of the family home, which was no more than 500 metres from where they were last seen.
The authors were told the Beaumonts had been buried at the cast alloy factory in North Plimpton. The claim supported when new witnesses emerged.
2 members of the public came forward after our book was published in 2013 and said that when they were teenagers getting ready for university, they'd actually dug a hole for this man.
Police took the theory seriously. A dig was conducted in 2013.
Unfortunately, at the result of this dig, we had to go. There's no new information found relative to this investigation.
But detectives were accused of looking in the wrong place. Alan Whittaker claims they ignored information from the 2 men who dug the hole just days after the children vanished.
The men weren't present when the police dug a very small section of the factory, and we would have liked them to have done a little bit more extensive excavation and perhaps had these men on board to say what exactly happened.
Even this retired detective believes the theory should be investigated more thoroughly.
The evidence that they've got now, I would see as too substantial just to ignore it.
Superintendent Bray wouldn't comment on the case.
I'm not prepared to talk about individual suspects or persons of interest. I think that would be wrong to provide on concrete.
But he did say this.
Everybody who would have dealt with this case from the very first day through to today is done everything humanly possible to solve it.
Police have investigated hundreds of potential suspects over the years, with some names standing out above the rest. Bevan Spencer Von Einem is a convicted child sex killer in jail for the murder of a 15-year-old boy. In another murder trial, it was claimed Von Einem had admitted taking the children and dumping their bodies south of Adelaide. It led police to search Maiponga Dam in 1990, but no bodies were found. Counting against the Von Einem theory, though, is the fact he was just 20 years old when the children vanished, whereas witnesses say the man spotted with the children along the beach on Australia Day was in his mid to late 30s. Another suspect, Arthur Stanley Brown, was 54 years old at the time, but he still bore a striking resemblance to the police sketch of the suspect. He's been linked to a number of killings and was charged with the murder of 2 young girls who disappeared from Townsville in 1970. Along with child sex convictions, Arthur Stanley Brown and Bevan Spencer Von Einem had one other thing in common. Both men have previously been linked to another infamous abduction, which happened here at the Adelaide Oval 7 years after the vote.
Get your first paycheck. Realize it won't cover your rent. Then into it rolls.
Joanne Ratcliffe and Kirsty Gordon are still missing. Their killers have also never been caught.
For a case like that, there are are some striking similarities.
Joanne Ratcliffe's sister Susie believes there's a chance the crimes were committed by the same person.
There's always that possibility. I mean, there's been so many theories over the years. The photo fit of the suspect was very similar in both cases. You keep an open mind. You never fully centre your hopes on one person.
Police say they still have dozens of suspects in the Beaumont disappearance, and recently a new one was added to the list.
Contacted within the last couple of weeks about from a credible person who believes they know somebody who may have information about the offender, and we'll have detectives away for several days following up with those people about another person of interest who has never come up before.
Does that new information appear to be credible?
Credible enough in that we believe that we need to investigate it as opposed to file it. But whether it simply peters out and amounts to nothing, like the hundreds that have come before, or whether it's a breakthrough, you don't know until you've done the work.
The person that's been identified, are they still alive?
No, again, it's a person who's died, and that makes some of our inquiries hard when people are nominated who are already deceased, because obviously they're not there to interview. And with the passage of time, proving where those people were 50 years ago is very challenging. We're sending a couple of people away to the country to fully investigate those claims, and we'll see what it takes us.
Police say solving the case is not impossible. They've pointed to the recent breakthrough in the historic murder of Wollonga man Dale McCauley and the arrests over the cold case disappearances of Karen Williams from Cooper Pedy and 10-year-old Louise Bell from her home at Hackham West.
There's always the possibility of solving this case, but obviously that window is getting smaller and smaller as time passes.
Look, I think this case will be solved one day. I think somebody has that one bit of information.
It's very frustrating. I would have liked to see it solved before I pass.
Australia Police says it will never close this investigation, and a $1 million reward for help solving the case remains on offer. 2026 will mark 60 years since the Beaumont children disappeared. It will also mark the moment a lifetime of unimaginable pain began for Jim and Nancy Beaumont. They were perhaps cursed to live long lives. Nancy eventually died in 2019. Jim in 2023. They endured to the end with no answers and no closure. They never stopped searching for Jane, Anna and Grant.
Hey, check it out. This little bullet right here is worth as much as all of those bullets inside of that case. What do I mean by that? Well, most people who conceal carry don't train with their guns all that much. That means they're probably not going to be accurate if they ever have to use their gun. And this laser bullet from the laser strike training system from us.
Airports are not just about flights. They're like little cities packed with mysteries, hidden hacks, and strange rules that make no sense. You're about to uncover everything from sneaky money traps to weird security secrets. 1. Duty-free? More like pay more. Think duty-free equals cheap? Think again. Those glittering bottles of perfume and chocolate towers are often marked up more than your corner store back home. Sure, they dangle the word tax-free like a carrot, but a quick online search could reveal the same items priced better elsewhere. 2. Lost in the labyrinth of temptation. Ever felt like you're walking in circles in the duty-free zone? You are, on purpose. These cleverly designed spaces are meant to confuse and distract you. The goal? To keep you gawking at shiny, overpriced trinkets until your wallet cries for mercy. It's not a flaw, it's marketing brilliance. 3. 4S, the security spotlight you don't want. Spot those 4 little letters on your boarding pass. Brace yourself. You've just won the TSA raffle. The prize, a personal pat-down, a deep dive into your luggage, and the kind of awkwardness that'll have you sweating in places you didn't know could sweat. Why? Maybe you booked last minute, paid in cash, or just got unlucky. Lucky you. 4. That scanner sees it all. feel weird stepping into that full body scanner, you're not alone, but don't worry. They're not judging your winter weight gain. They're scanning for concealed items, not your secrets. Prefer not to play show and tell, opt for the pat down. Either way, they're just doing their job. 5. The Liquid Rules, a TSA time capsule. Remember 2006? The year everyone decided 3.4 ounces was the magic number for liquids, all thanks to a foiled liquid explosive plot. Fast forward to today, and many experts agree the rule is outdated, but hey, enjoy cramming tiny shampoo bottles into a Ziploc bag like it's a modern art project. 6. Water without the sticker shock. Why pay $5 for a water bottle when you can bring your own empty one? Fill it at a hydration station, and voila, free water. Bonus, you'll look like a responsible, eco-friendly traveler instead of a sucker. 7. Lounges are overrated. Find hidden gems. Not shelling out for a lounge pass? No biggie. Airports are treasure troves of secret quiet spots, recliners, and charging stations. Hunt around a little, and you'll feel just as fancy without spending a dime. 8. Boarding last is equal to winning. Why rush the board and get stuck in a tin can longer than necessary? Unless you're fighting for overhead bin space, chill out. Seasoned travelers know to hang back until the final call. Less chaos, same seat. Genius. 9. Wing it for smooth flying. 8. Turbulence? Sit over the wings. It's the plane's sweet spot for stability. The back, that's where things get bumpy, like a theme park ride you didn't sign up for. 10. Exit row. The poor man's first class. Dreaming of extra leg room but not the price tag? Snag an exit row seat. The catch? You've got to help in an emergency. If you're not up for action hero duties, stick to the cramped rows and keep dreaming. 11. Airline food's salty secret. Why does airplane food taste like cardboard? Blame the cabin pressure. It dulls your taste buds, so airlines go heavy on the salt and spices. Still not edible? Bring your own snacks. Trust us. You'll thank yourself when you dodge the rubbery chicken. 12. Coffee? Proceed with caution. Love grabbing a quick coffee at the airport? Here's a fun fact. Some airports don't clean their water tanks regularly. That funky taste? It's probably not the beans. If you're squeamish, stick to bottled beverages and dodge the mystery brew. 13. BYO snacks and keep your cash. Airport food prices are a joke, a sad one. Packing your own snacks is a double win. Save money and avoid paying gourmet prices for stale chips. Plus, you'll feel like a genius every time you pull out a homemade sandwich. 14. Snap that bag before you check it. Lost luggage isn't rare, and when it happens, a picture of your bag can be a lifesaver. Bonus points if you stick a copy of your contact info inside. Trust us, you'll be thanking your past self when your bag takes a detour. 15. Spy gear for your suitcase. Invest in a tracker like an AirTag or Tile. If your bag decides to explore another city, you'll know exactly where it's hanging out. Modern problems need modern solutions, right? 16. Overpacking is equal to overpaying. Don't be that person cramming their life's possessions into a suitcase. Keep it light to dodge those hefty fees. Pro tip, wear your heaviest clothes on the plane. Instant weight-saving hack. 17. Airport apps, your free assistant. Most airports have apps these days, offering gate info, food options, and even security wait times. It's like having an insider guide in your pocket. Just make sure your phone's battery isn't on life support. 18. The early bird gets the less delayed food. Flights, especially before 8 a.m., are less likely to face delays. The airport's quieter and security lines are shorter. Sure, waking up at 4 a.m. sucks, but so does sitting through a 3-hour delay. 19. Lost? Ask the unsung heroes. Need help? Skip the busy gate agents and ask a janitor. These unsung airport heroes know the layout better than anyone. Bathrooms, shortcuts, hidden gems. They've got the answers. 20. Carpet versus Tile, a psychological game. Ever notice the carpeted areas in airports? They're designed to make you feel cozy and relaxed, encouraging you to sit down and, surprise, spend money. Tiles, on the other hand, are used where speed is key. Welcome to the subtle art of airport psychology. 21. Ever wonder why it's always so bright? Big windows, natural light, and those oh-so-aesthetic vibes aren't just for your Instagram feed. Nope, it's all part of a bigger plan. Studies show that well-lit spaces make people happier. And guess what happy people do? Spend more money. Those pricey airport snacks, duty-free splurges, and random souvenirs you didn't even need, they're all part of the master plan. 22. The sneaky smell game. Ever walked into an airport and thought, wow, this place smells oddly pleasant? That's no accident. Airports pump calming scents like lavender or citrus into the air to keep you relaxed and, more importantly, in the mood to spend. It's like aromatherapy meets psychological manipulation. Sneaky, right? Suddenly, that overpriced coffee smells like a bargain. 23. Bathroom doors. The truth you didn't ask for. Think you've got privacy in those cramped airplane bathrooms? Think again. Flight attendants have a little trick up their sleeve, a hidden latch under the lavatory sign that lets them unlock the door from the outside. Sure, it's for emergencies, but it's a reminder you're never truly alone at 35,000 feet. 24. Why are airplane bathrooms so tiny? It's not personal, it's business. Those claustrophobic little lavatories, they exist so airlines can cram in more seats. More seats equal more paying passengers. Spacious restrooms? Worse. The truth you didn't ask for. Think you've got privacy in those cramped airplane bathrooms? Think again. Flight attendants have a little trick up their sleeve, a hidden latch under the lavatory sign that lets them unlock the door from the outside. Sure, it's for emergencies, but it's a reminder you're never truly alone at 35,000 feet. 24. Why are airplane bathrooms so tiny? It's not personal, it's business. Those claustrophobic little lavatories, they exist so airlines can cram in more seats. More seats equal more paying passengers. Spacious restrooms? That's a luxury reserved for your imagination. The airline's motto? Why waste space on comfort when you can squeeze in another ticket sale? 25. Don't touch that flush button. The flush button in airplane bathrooms, it's a bacteria party waiting to happen. If you're brave enough to touch it with your bare hands, you're basically signing up for germ roulette. Pro tip, use a tissue or your elbow. Better safe than sorry, or worse, sick. 26. The wild ride of your checked bag. Ever wondered what happens to your luggage after you hand it off? Behind the scenes, it's like a high-stakes amusement park ride. Bags zip through conveyor belts, scanners, and sorting machines, all while facing the risk of being misplaced. It's a high-tech process, but let's be real. Mistakes happen. Lost luggage, not exactly rare. 27. Yes, luggage tossing happens. Those baggage handlers you see on the tarmac, they're on a tight schedule, and sometimes that means your suitcase takes a not-so-graceful dive. Want to protect your stuff? Invest in a hard-shell suitcase and skip the overpacking. It's less likely to burst open under pressure, literally. 28. Why bags go MIA. Tight flight connections are a recipe for lost luggage. If your bag doesn't make the transfer, it's not personal, it's just logistics. Airlines prioritize you over your suitcase, so while you're enjoying your vacation, your bag might be taking a scenic tour on the next flight. 29. The sad truth about airplane bread rolls. You know that rock-hard bread roll on your tray? It's been through a lot. These rolls are often made months in advance, frozen, and then reheated during the flight. It's like a sad hockey puck, pretending to be food. If freshness is your thing, bring your own snacks. 30. Coffee and tea. Proceed with caution. Think twice before ordering coffee or tea on a plane. The water tanks aren't exactly clean to sparkling standards. If you're a germaphobe, stick to bottled drinks, or better yet, pack your own instant coffee packets. At least you'll know where it came from. 31. Ice. Gross. That ice in your drink? It's often made from the same tank water used for the coffee and tea. If that thought makes you cringe, just skip the ice. Warm soda might not be your first choice, but it's definitely less questionable. 32. Airport ATMs are a ripoff. Need cash at the airport? Think again. Those ATMs often come with sky-high fees and terrible exchange rates. Save yourself some money and hit up an ATM at your destination instead. Your wallet will thank you. 33. Wi-Fi, the not-so-free luxury. Still paying for airport Wi-Fi in 2025? What a scam. Some airports charge for Wi-Fi like it's a premium service. Pro tip, hunt for free connections from lounges or nearby cafes, or use your phone's hotspot if you've got a good data plan. Don't let the
Hey, Sweaty. Sweetie, you good?
Someone stole my Old Spice antiperspirant. Or nickel and dime you. 34. Those luggage carts aren't free. You know those handy baggage carts? Surprise, they're not free at most airports. They'll charge you a small fortune for the privilege. Instead, pack light or turn your backpack into a makeshift trolley. It's not glamorous, but it's free. 35, the left line hack. Most people instinctively pick the right side security line, which often makes it the busiest. Be a rebel and choose the left line instead. It's usually shorter, and you'll save yourself some precious minutes. 36, laptop placement matters. Don't bury your laptop in the depths of your carry-on. Security will make you dig it out, and you'll waste time. Keep it on top, ready to grab. You'll thank yourself later when you're not holding up the line. 37, slip-on shoes are your friend. Security checks and lace-up boots don't mix. Go for slip-ons instead. You'll sail through the line while others wrestle with their footwear. Efficiency is key, my friend. 38. Weather isn't always to blame. Weather delays sounds believable, but it's not always true. Sometimes it's air traffic control, late arrivals, or minor mechanical issues. Airlines just say weather because it's easier to explain and harder to argue with. 39. Morning flights are the real MVPs. Want to avoid delays? Book the first flight of the day. Early morning flights are less likely to be delayed because the schedule hasn't had time to spiral into chaos. By afternoon, it's a domino effect of setbacks. 40. Maintenance issues. Not always a big deal. Maintenance delay sounds ominous, but it could be something trivial, like a broken coffee machine or a burnt-out light bulb. Airlines play it safe, but don't assume every maintenance issue is a disaster waiting to happen. Sometimes it's just about keeping the little things in check. 41. Don't waste miles on short flights. Let's cut to the chase. Using your precious miles for a short hop is like trading a diamond for a bag of chips. Sure, it's tempting to flex those points for a quick getaway, but hold up. Check the cash price first. 9 times out of 10, it's cheaper than burning through your hard-earned miles. 42. Loyalty pays, but only if you work it. Airline loyalty programs are like dating apps. Stick to one and you'll start seeing some perks. Free upgrades, lounge access, maybe even priority boarding. But here's the kicker. Consistency is key. Jumping from airline to airline for the cheapest deal is like ghosting your match. 43. Credit card miles are pure gold. If you're smart, airline credit cards are a gold mine if you know how to dig. The sign-up bonuses alone can score you a free flight. But don't get cocky. Interest rates will eat you alive if you don't pay off that balance every month. 44. Pack a scarf. Trust me, airplanes are cold. Like, why is it winter in here? Cold. And those blankets they hand out, let's just say they're not fresh off the dryer. A scarf or shawl is the MVP of travel gear. It's a blanket, it's a pillow, it's stylish. What more do you need? 45. Neck pillows are overrated. Here's the tea. Those neck pillows everyone swears by, bulky, awkward, and honestly, not that comfy. Go for a travel scarf or an inflatable pillow instead. They're compact, practical, and way less embarrassing to carry around. 46. Compression socks are your new BFF. Long flights wreck your circulation. Compression socks are the unsung heroes that keep your legs from swelling like balloons. Bonus, they're surprisingly cozy. Your future self and your ankles will thank you. 47. Be nice to flight attendants. It's worth it. Want an upgrade? Forget the entitled attitude. Flight attendants hold more power than you think. A little kindness goes a long way. Be the person they want to help, not the one they roll their eyes at. Pro tip. Demanding things. Guaranteed one-way ticket to staying a coach. 48. Gate agents are gatekeepers. Literally, missed your connection? Don't be the person huffing and puffing at the gate. Gate agents can save your day or ruin it, depending on how you treat them. Smile, stay calm, and they might just move mountains, or at least find you a decent rebooking. 49. Early boarding isn't about you. Think early boarding is a VIP experience? Hate to break it to you, but it's all about efficiency. Airlines want you in your seat as soon as possible, so the plane can take off on time. The faster you're buckled in, the faster they can meet their schedule. It's dim. And no, it's not for mood. Dimming the lights before landing isn't about ambiance. It's a safety move. Your eyes need to adjust to the outside light, so if there's an emergency, you're not stumbling around like a deer in headlights. Practical, not romantic. 51. The brace position is legit. Conspiracy theories are fun, but the brace position, it's legit. It's designed to protect your head and spine during impact, not to make things worse. Next time you hear someone say otherwise, feel free to roll your eyes. 52. Your seat cushion can save your life. That cushion you're sitting on. It's not just for comfort. In a water landing, it doubles as a flotation device. Not glamorous, but it works. Let's hope you never need it.
why don't you own an apartment building? And I'm serious right now. Let me show you a path that could change your life, your financial future. My name's Tyler Dever.
But if you do, you'll be glad it's there. 53. Oversold flights are just business. Ever wondered why airlines oversell flights? It's all about the numbers. They're betting a few people won't show up. When everyone does, someone's getting bumped. Volunteer if the compensation's good. Free flights or cash? Yes, please. 54. Refunds for delays? Know your rights. Delayed flights are the worst, but here's the silver lining. You might be entitled to compensation if the delay's on the airline. Maintenance issues? That's on them. Check their policy and don't be shy about asking for what you're owed. It's your money. 55. Pets fly better than you think. Good news for pet lovers. Some airlines have temperature-controlled compartments for pets in the cargo hold. If your furry friend is small enough, they can ride in the cabin with you. Just make sure you know the rules before booking. 56. Tray tables are gross. Clean them. Newsflash, your tray table is dirtier than the bathroom. Let that sink in. If you're planning to eat, use sanitizing wipes first. Better yet, keep your food off the table altogether. Germs don't take vacations. 57. Seat pockets? Just don't. Seat pockets might seem handy, but they're rarely cleaned. That's right, they're basically germ sanctuaries. Think twice before you stash your phone or snacks in there. Ignorance isn't always bliss. 58. Hand sanitizer is non-negotiable. Airports and planes are germ magnets. A travel-sized hand sanitizer is your MVP. Use it religiously, after touching handles, bins, or anything in the bathroom. Trust me, your immune system will thank you. 59. Airports can be fun, really. Believe it or not, some airports are destinations in themselves. Singapore's Changi Airport has gardens, movie theaters, even a pool. Do a little research on your layover airport. You might be surprised by what's waiting for you. 60. Nap pods are a game changer. Sleeping on a bench is for amateurs. Many airports now have nap pods or quiet zones for travelers. They're often free or low cost, and they're a lifesaver on long layovers. Check them out. Your back will thank you. 61. Don't rely on outlet real estate. Airports are battlegrounds when it comes to charging your devices. Those outlets near the gates, they're prime real estate, and you'll often find them guarded by travelers like it's a lifeline. Save yourself the hassle and pack a power bank. 62. Turbulence. The drama we all overplay. Here's a secret. Turbulence isn't the dramatic mid-air disaster your imagination conjures up. Pilots treat it like an annoying speed bump. Planes are designed to handle way worse than a few bumps. 63. The buckle up rule isn't just a suggestion. Sure, the skies look clear, but that doesn't mean unexpected turbulence won't sneak up on you. Staying buckled up is like having an insurance policy against those sudden jolts. 64. Pilots and their nap schedule. Ever wonder if pilots just decide to snooze mid-flight? Sorry to burst your bubble, but they're on strict schedules. Long-haul flights come with fancy sleeping quarters for the crew, but let's not romanticize it. Think tiny, cramped bunks, not a luxury suite. Glamorous? Hardly. 65. Gate prices. Highway robbery in the sky. You know those overpriced snacks and water bottles near your gate? It's like they assume you're so desperate you'll pay triple the price. Pro tip. Grab your munchies from shops farther from the gate. Your wallet will thank you. 66. Exclusive deals aren't always so exclusive. You see a fancy perfume at the airport with limited edition plastered all over it. Feels special, right? Hate to burst your bubble, but it's probably the same stuff in a shinier box. If it says exclusive, it might just mean extra expensive. Before you fork over your cash, do a quick search on your phone. 67. Overpriced souvenirs. The airport trap. Those cutesy magnets and keychains scream tourist, but they also scream overpriced. Why spend triple the price at the airport when you can snag something more authentic and affordable at a local market? 68. Random screenings aren't exactly random. Think those extra security checks are purely by chance? Hate to break it to you, but algorithms play a big role. Factors like buying a one-way ticket or paying in cash might put you on the radar. So, not so random after all. 69. Shoes off? Maybe not. Tired of the whole shoes off, belt off, laptop out routine at security? TSA PreCheck is your golden ticket. For frequent flyers, it's a game changer. You'll breeze through security while others fumble with their belongings. 70. The great water bottle scam. Ever notice how water bottles cost more than your coffee at the airport? It's no accident. Bring an empty bottle and use the refill stations to stick to overpriced airport shops. You'll stay hydrated without breaking the bank. 71. Flight attendant smiles. More than just politeness. Those cheerful smiles from flight attendants, they're not just about being nice. It's part of their training to read passengers and identify potential troublemakers. That smile, it's a subtle...
Get the QuickBooks mobile app. Simply snap photos of receipts, tap, and sort transactions.
A way of saying, I'm watching you. 72. First aid heroes in the sky. Flight attendants aren't just there to hand out peanuts. Their first aid training is intense, from CPR to handling medical emergencies, and yes, even delivering babies. They're ready for anything. So, next time you're tempted to overlook their role, remember, they're basically airborne superheroes. 73. The elusive free upgrade. Dreaming of a first-class upgrade? Keep dreaming. Free upgrades are about as rare as a unicorn. Sure, being polite and dressing smartly might help, but don't count on it. If it happens, consider it a miracle. 74. The Aisle Rushers Club. We all know that person who jumps up the moment the plane lands. Here's the truth. You're not getting off any faster. You're just going to stand awkwardly in a crowded aisle. Sit back, relax, and let the chaos unfold without you. 75. Snacks for the landing zone. Think airport food is pricey? Wait until you're at your destination and realize the prices haven't improved. Pack a small snack for when you land. Your stomach's growls will thank you while you're waiting for customs. 76. Customs lines. There's an app for that. If you're not using Global Entry or a customs app, you're doing it wrong. These tools can save you from the agony of endless lines. International travelers, take note. Time is money. 77. The blue ice myth. Let's clear this up once and for all. Airplanes do not dump sewage mid-flight. The blue ice stories are pure myth. Plane bathrooms have sealed tanks emptied on the ground. So no, that's not what landed on your car. 78. Cleaner air than your office. Worried about germs on planes? Don't be. HEPA filters clean cabin air better than your office's ventilation system. Airplane air is refreshed every few minutes, making it surprisingly clean, so breathe easy. 79. Oxygen masks. Short and sweet. If the masks drop, you've got about 12 to 15 minutes of oxygen. Don't panic. That's plenty of time for the pilot to get to a lower altitude where you can breathe normally. Trust the system. 80. Airplane mode. The final chapter. After landing, don't be the person who keeps their phone in airplane mode for hours. Turn it off as soon as it's safe. You'll catch those texts, emails, and baggage updates without delay. And let's face it, who doesn't want to reconnect to the world as soon as possible? 81. Use the airline's app. Airline apps aren't just for booking tickets. They often include perks like free entertainment, real-time updates on gate changes, and even meal pre-orders. Download it before you fly. 82. Offline maps. Save the day. Before your flight, download offline maps of your destination. They work without Wi-Fi or data, making navigating a new city stress-free, and you won't get hit with roaming charges. 83. Ask for the kid kits. Many airlines have free kid kits with coloring books, toys, or snacks. Just ask the flight attendant. They don't advertise them, but they're usually stocked. 84. The window seat wins. If you're traveling with kids, the window seat is like free entertainment. Watching the clouds or the tiny cars below can keep little ones occupied for hours. 85. Bring empty sippy cups. Avoid mid-flight spills by bringing your kids' empty sippy cup. You can fill it with juice or water once you're past security. Flight attendants are happy to help. 86. Bring your own entertainment. In-flight Wi-Fi and movies can be pricey. Download shows, books, or games on your device before you leave home. It's cheaper and guarantees you'll have something you actually like. 87. Pack your own meals. Airline food isn't free on every flight, and even when it is, it's often lackluster. Pack a sandwich, fruit, or protein bars to keep hunger at bay without spending airport prices. 88. Use a rewards card in the airport. Some travel credit cards offer discounts or cash back on airport purchases. Check your card's benefits. You might get free lounge access or meal deals. 89. Lost items? Act fast. If you leave something behind, report it to the airline or airport immediately. Items are often sent to a centralized lost and found, but the sooner you act, the better your chances of getting it back. 90. Laptops get left behind the most. Security checkpoints are the hash one spot for forgotten items, especially laptops and phones. Double check your bin before you grab your stuff and walk away. 91. Don't forget about the gate area. If you lose something at the gate, ask a staff member to check before your flight leaves. Gate agents often hold items for a short time before sending them to lost and found. 92. Planes get struck by lightning regularly. Don't panic. Planes are designed to handle lightning strikes. It happens at least once a year per aircraft, and the electricity safely passes through the frame without causing harm. 93. The hidden camera myth. There are no secret cameras in airplane bathrooms. Those rumors, totally false. Privacy is respected, though the crew does have ways to unlock the doors in emergencies. 94. Pilots only eat certain meals. To avoid food poisoning risks, pilots eat different meals than passengers, and from each other. If one gets sick, the other can still safely operate the plane. 95. Recline your seat wisely. Reclining your seat during meals or takeoff? Big no-no. Be courteous. Recline only when it's appropriate, and always check behind you first. Nobody wants to spill their coffee because you lean back too fast. 96. Use a blanket for more than warmth. That airplane blanket, it's not just for staying